Alrighty, welcome guys to ZRL Season 2 Race 5 Keith Hill After Party. This is gonna be a big one. This is a super flat course for majority of the race, and then you've got Keith Hill, which I think is about 4.5 kilometers at about 6% to finish off. There is one sprint section in the middle at around about 14 kilometers. There are points available for FAL and FTS, so they'll be expecting a big sprint here for pretty much everyone. Given it's the only sprint in the race, I think a lot of people will be trying to push for points there, so anticipating a bit of a slow start with everyone just cruising, and then really pushing when we get to that sprint section. After that, pretty much anticipating everyone will calm down again. There'll probably be a few people out front with the main peloton. My goal is to try and stick with the peloton. If possible, try and push forward into that breakaway group, if there is one, to try and stay out front, put myself into a really good placing for the final climb up Keith Hill. Climbing's pretty my thing. I think I've got a feeling very confident going into this race that I can try and put on a really good position here for final placing across the line. This is my last race for the year as well, so really wanting to go hard for this one and finish the year on a big bang. So we're about 2.5 kilometers in now. The pack's started off pretty quick, but we're now beginning to cool down a little bit with the pace. So I see a bit of an opportunity here to try and push out in front, see if I can make a little bit of a breakaway and see if I can build up a bit of a gap. I was hoping maybe a couple of people might come with me, but it looks like I'm out by myself. I make around about 10 meters, 10-12 meters on everyone, but that looks like the peloton begins to pick up the pace, and eventually before going under the bridge and just before we get to that climb, unfortunately I'm swallowed back up by the peloton. This is one person, M. Ellett, does come out with me, behind me. I was kind of hoping he might come in forward in front of me and we could make a little breakaway, but he just sits on my tail, and I'm not going too hard, only pushing about sort of 260 to 80 watts, which is well within my, at this point of the race anyway, well within my sort of wattage. I thought maybe I could hold that for a little bit, just create a little bit of a gap, but eventually I just get swallowed up again. So coming into the first climb, this really does start stretching out the legs on the peloton, and I end up about halfway in the middle of the pack. Not in too bad a place. Slowly, I want to be at the front of the pack, so I do slowly push it up, and you can see here now I am more at the front again. I knew that there would be, given the slower pace, that there would certainly be some people trying to push out in front. I didn't want to miss out on that, so really wanted to stay at the front, definitely stay in contention to take that opportunity when it arises, or hopefully even make my own opportunity with a little breakaway. Just really needed a couple of people to come with me. I'm pushing out on the front quite a lot of this race. I did want to really kind of push the peloton along a bit. I know I'll be strong for the end climb, so I wanted to put myself into a really good position with hopefully a decent start on everyone by the time we get round to the sprint and also the final climb. So coming into this race, feeling pretty good. I'd actually done a 155k ride on the Sunday, so this is now on the Tuesday. Thought my legs might be a little bit on the tired side, but actually feeling really good, feeling really strong. So I was surprised I could be up on the front and competitive as I was. Last race I really struggled. Really struggled to stay on the front and stay with the front lead pack. But at this point in the race, I'm feeling really good. Feeling like I can keep the pace. Obviously the pace isn't as fast as last week. Peloton is keeping it around about that sort of 200, 220 watts. very almost a very leisurely cruise around London. Really good to see a lot of my Galaxy teammates up the front as well. We're currently settling at second in the tables with my team Galaxy Pioneer. Do also have Galaxy Apollo racing as well tonight, so that's why there's quite a few more purple shirts than normal. Galaxy Apollo should be some of them are in green, some are in purple. There is a bit of a glitch with Zwift that if you try and change your jersey in the pen, it does not. You might see it change, but everyone else doesn't see it change. So you can see here now, thought the peloton had slowed down again. Thought I'd just push on a little bit, see if I can push out in front, see if anyone wants to come with me. Not pushing too hard, just around that sort of 260 to 280, well within my wattage to sort of endurance. And we now are getting a couple of people beginning to sort of come out in front and join me for a little bit of an attack. But eventually, peloton picks up and we are swallowed up again. Obviously, everyone else is in the same mentality of not wanting anyone to get too far out in front. We are only a few K out from the sprint. So I think everyone now is at that point where they're just jostling for position, trying to make sure to put themselves in a good placing for that sprint. You can see now one person has actually broken out in front and is probably 20-30 seconds ahead. This person does actually manage to hold this the entire way, which is a very impressive effort on their behalf. And I'm beginning to think now, ooh, maybe can I do something similar? I know the sprint is on the other side of this long stretch, so I decide, what the hell? Let's build up a gap. Let's see if I can hold this and then have that nice big gap all the way to the sprint section, and for once have a really good placing for FAL. Pushing up the watts to 400-ish. Wanted to build up quite a few meters and then sort of just ease it down to that sort of, again, that 280, which is what I know I can hold. A couple of people come with me and overtake me. This Jay Kelly really wanted to get on his wheel. I thought I could do that. I could put myself in a good place, but definitely beginning to feel the burn here, and I realize I'm not going to catch him. So I'm like, right, just stick with it. Putting out, 350, 380. And as you can see now, I'm really beginning to burn. The watts are dropping. I can see the pack is spread out behind me. Trying to dig deep here, but it's beginning to burn. Really struggling at this point. Heart rate is through the roof. And here comes the pack sprinting. So it's time for the power up. Get that aero boost and cling on to this little pack. Down into 25th, 24th. Now it's just a case of what can I do here just within this little pack to try and get as many points. A few hundred meters to go. And here we go, the sprint section. It's only 200 meters. Putting the power down as much as I can with what I've got left in the legs. Lose a couple of points here. But I think I close over the line. I think I finished that in 26th. Pretty happy with that. Could have certainly done, I think if I'd maybe left the sprint a little later. Maybe if I'd managed to get onto the wheel of that Jay Kelly person, I might have been able to hold that a little bit longer. But still very happy with that effort. Now it's just a case of just clinging on, making sure I don't just drop back too far in the peloton. So a little bit bit further back than where I wanted to be. So now it's just a case of just slowly working my way up again, back up to the front of the group. There's a couple of people out in that sort of group, just out front. I don't want to get too far away from them, so just pushing along. Overtaking my teammate Ian here. You really want to make that jump up to the next gap, or to the next group, just not to lose them. I was very happy to see that I got a feather up. Sorry, a feather power up, which I'm now going to hold on to until the end for the climb. At this point, not sure whether I'll try and use that at the bottom of the hill and try and build up a gap, or whether I hold on to the end for a sprint. That's going to have to be something I'll have to play by ear when I get to the end of the ride. Let's see now, we're kind of now into this very casual section now. There is that little group of, I think, 4 riders out in front. There's one person there trying to make a breakaway to try and catch up with that front group. Would have probably been good to jump on with that person. Maybe we could have bridged that gap, but it wasn't to be. Everyone's kind of cruising at this point now, just waiting for saving the legs for the climb. Feeling good again. Recovered somewhat from the sprint section, so trying again stay near the front of the pack. Again, not wanting to lose out on any opportunities to bridge that gap. I don't think at this point I'm going to catch those pack of 4 who are way out front. I'm trying to push the peloton along at this point to try and stay with them, but the peloton really wasn't responding, and you can see those couple of people are just up to 21 seconds now. They just slowly pulling away from the main pack. Would have been great to have jumped in with that, but would have involved being a bit more on the front with the after the sprint. Notes for next time: try and stay at the front with the sprint, and then you can jump into any of those packs that have those little breakaways. A little bit of a climb here. Again, stretching the legs. Peloton stretches out a little bit. Need to feel the burn. A little bit more of a climb, and then into a bit of a downhill section. So at this point, anticipating about another 20 minutes for the race. I have another gel that I want to take just for that climb, just to give me as much energy as possible in that last section. So just at this point, I'm sort of wondering, oh, when do I take it? I'm thinking sort of at the 15-minute mark. I know we come down the straight, we'll cross the river over the bridge, hang a left, and then we'll be through the underground tunnel and onto this Richmond area in the main climb section. You see here I've tried to push out of front again, trying to use the old elbow signal to try and signal for a couple of other people to take turns. It didn't really pull off. Here we go. So that was me trying to take a gel when absolutely pretty buggered at this point. I was having a SIS beta fuel gel, which is 40 grams of carbohydrates. It's actually 2 different types of sugar. It is absolute rocket fuel. I really wanted to save that for the last bit. So it's about 9 kilometers until the end now. So here we go, crossing the Tower Bridge. And we'll hang a left, and then a right into the tunnels. And we will now pop out into the Richmond area and into the climbing section. And here we go. Around the corner. And the climb does start to build, but the actual official Keith Hill climb doesn't start until a little bit further up. You can see on the map, there's that little blob of people who are probably 30, 40 seconds ahead of us. They've really stretched their legs out and stretched that lead now. It's probably unattainable at this point, but we'll do what we can. You see now the pace, as we hit that 7%, the pace starts to slow. Everyone starts digging in deep, changing down gears. And I'm just digging down, just trying to aim for that about 280 watts. I know now that that's my sustainable wattage for a climb, for something over this distance. So that's my target watts. A bit of a flat section here. I get out of the saddle and go into the top ring. We've just passed the start of Keith Hill now. On those flat sections, I do like to just change into the big ring and push on. And you do find that on Zwift that you really do build up quite a bit of momentum, and it really does. You can make up a lot of time and potentially places by just changing up and putting on a little bit more power. Feeling it here. Now into these 10% gradients really kill me. I really seem to struggle much more on these sections than a lot of other people. Again, here we are, a bit of a flat section, falls flat. Into that top ring, try and stay with the pack. Managed to get back with them, and the momentum sort of carried me through, and here we are back into the 8, 9, 10% gradients. Changing down into granny gear, or the one but below granny, and just plodding on at 260 to 280 watts. It's these sections where I do seem to lose a couple of places, but I do seem to do better in those sort of 5% gradient. Haven't worked out why, but just seems to be the way I'm built. So yeah, you can see now, pack's beginning to just pull away a little bit. Doing what I can to try and pull back. Really feeling it in the legs now. Wattage is dropping down, sort of 220 to 250. Trying to stay with them. Oh, 12%. Yeah, you can see them, everyone pulling away now. So this is where I need to dig deep. Just try and stay with them. Slowly pull it back as the gradient drops a little bit to 8%. This Chris Newt, I believe his name is. He is my nemesis. He's beaten me pretty much every other race, so gave me a lot of encouragement to overtake him on the climb. Up into 14th here, and I'm thinking, and 13th, and I'm thinking, okay, I can. I've got this. Bit of a gap to the next people in front, but I'm hoping if I just keep plugging away at that sort of solid wattage, and especially coming up now to this sort of flat section, hopefully I can put the hammer down in the big ring and try and maybe make up a place or two. Unfortunately, everyone else had the same idea, and my Galaxy teammate Cassie, way too far out in front of me. Great effort on her behalf. Fantastic ride by her. I've got a bit of a gap now of sort of 30 meters behind the person behind me, so pretty confident I'm going to get 13th here. 100 meters to go. I can afford to ease off a little bit, and here we go. 13th. My best ZRL placing individual to date. Very, very happy with that. I thought I planned that ride out pretty well and executed it pretty well. Probably could have gone a little later on the sprint, but overall, absolutely stoked with my performance on that. What a way to finish out the year. This is my final ride. Myself and Mrs. K are heading away for Christmas, so no cycling for a few weeks. No more videos for the until the new year. But I will be back with more videos, especially some updates on my peaks training and plans for any big rides in the new year, as well as more ZRL rides and recon rides. So until then, stay safe, ride well, and have a Merry Christmas and New Year.